And I want a natural gas car or an electric car. We're going to talk about electricity. We rely on it to the point where we take it for granted. You flip the switch and it turns on, and when it doesn't, you go, well, I can't live like this. So to talk about our continuing need for reliable, clean energy, our two guests with us, John Ramil, who's the president and CEO of TECO Energy, and Tom Kuhn, president of Edison Electric Institute. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us very much. In order to have a thriving economy, you have to have utilities that can get the job done. We can't grow without it, correct?
Frank, you're right. We really do. If you look at the numbers over time of the economy, and you look at the electrification, you look at abundant, clean, low-cost energy, they go hand in hand. You're very right.
And so to keep it cleaner, and government is always introducing regulations, new regulations year by year. We don't want pollution. And so what's the challenge there? Because right now you're using coal and natural gas as your generators, correct?
That's correct. About half of our electricity comes from coal and about half from natural gas.
You don't burn oil anymore to run your turbines?
Very little bit of oil. Maybe during the very, very peak times of customer usage, we might use a little bit of oil on some of our older generating plants, but very, very little, less than 1%.
And we've established now that natural gas is clean.
It is.
So with coal, you have to have scrubbers as you emit pollutants, and that adds cost, does it not?
That's correct. And the trick for our customers, whenever I speak to a group of customers, I usually ask them, who wants reliable energy? When you turn the switch, it's there, and they all raise their hand. And then I typically ask, okay, who wants clean energy? And everybody raises their hand. And then I said, great, you guys are doing wonderful. Now, who wants to pay more for energy? And they all just kind of look at each other and laugh, because that's the challenge. Right. And Tom knows, as he manages these issues for our entire industry, that the trick we have is to balance all three of those things. Energy policy, which includes reliability and where we source our fuels, the environmental aspects of what we do, and the economic impact to our customers.
Tom, you do have to have a national view, and I'm sure from state to state it varies. For example, in some states, there's hydroelectric power. We don't have that here or use that here. Some states have nuclear power. TECO does not use nuclear power at this point. And talk about that, because there are some nuclear plants being constructed now, but it's been many, 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 many years since that's happened. And that's a regulatory issue. There have been safety concerns, obviously. But tell us where we are now with regard to nuclear power.
Well, again, I think you've got to go back to the mission again. As John indicated, what you want is reliable power, you want affordable power, and you want clean power. And those are all goals that the industry is trying to achieve. And as a matter of fact, over the last 40 years, we have more than doubled the use of electricity in this country, and at the same time greatly reduced emissions. Sulfur emissions down 70%, mercury emissions down 70%, nitrogen emissions down more than 70%. At the same time, TECO has done an even better job. They're in the 90% range on those factors. It has been new technologies that have come into play. We have essentially less than 1% of our electricity does come from oil. We're using an increasing amount from natural gas. We use 40% of the gas in this country
to generate electricity.
Generate electricity. And coal is very, very important still to maintain as a fuel for the future, and we're using more nuclear power and more renewables. So you need all of the above energy fuels that are mentioned by both the Governor Romney right now and the Obama administration. You really need it all, and you need a great deal of energy efficiency besides.
When we talk about renewable, are we talking about wind power and solar power? I don't know, ethanol is very practical to generate electricity. That would seem rather expensive. But tell us about that. Where are we with regard to renewables?
The non-hydro renewables are primarily wind and solar energy. They represent a very small percentage of our electricity right now, 3 or 4%. They're growing. Wind power has grown substantially in the parts of the country where there is a substantial amount of wind. It has been subsidized by the government, but right now natural gas probably is the cheapest fuel out there for us to use, so there's most new generating plants right now are being built with natural gas.
Why is solar so expensive and not practical? We're in the sunshine state.
Right. It's, Frank, it actually is coming down in cost. It is, but it's still, in many cases, over twice the cost of the conventional resources. And even though you do not have to pay for fuel to power it, the upfront cost is just so high, it's hard to compete. That's one challenge. The other is that customers demand electricity all the time. And we have several small solar installations throughout our service territory. And to give you an example, during the wintertime, our peak demand for electricity is early in the morning before the sun comes up. So those resources do not contribute to helping to serve the customers at that point in time. So in addition to the high upfront costs, you have to make a second investment so you have the capacity there to meet the customer's needs when they want to use energy. It's a challenge, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I would assume in TECO service area, the greater demand is in the summertime for cooling homes, unless we have a really severe winter. And would you say that most people both heat and cool in our area with electricity as opposed to a furnace to heat?
Most people cool with electricity, no doubt about it.
Right.
They heat with both electricity and natural gas. And we find when natural gas is available in the area, customers will opt to include a natural gas furnace if they have that option for heating their home. We do have high demands for electricity both in the summer and in the winter. But the winter is for a very short period of time and just for a few days a year when we have those 3-day cold fronts that come through the state of Florida. In the summertime, it's 92, 93, 94 degrees each and every day. So you have that high demand day in and day out, unlike in the winter.
Yeah, my TECO bill reflects that, by the way.
Understand.
I've noticed that.
Understand. But I will tell you that you talked about different sources of fuel, and some areas have hydro, and we unfortunately we do not have hydro in the state of Florida.
Right.
And unfortunately, we have to import all of our fuels hundreds of miles.
Adding to the cost.
Adding to the cost. And we're a peninsula. So we have to have all the generating capacity to meet our customers' needs in the state. We can't depend on people around us to get that. In spite of that, the state of Florida has below the average electricity rates. And in fact, our company, both our electric and gas company, have amongst the lowest rates in the state.
You also offer programs, you offer a home audit program. Someone will come out from TECO, inspect your home, and tell you whether or not you have sufficient insulation, for example, but will make recommendations that could, in fact, save you money. I think you have Derek Brooks as part of that campaign, right?
That's correct,
Yeah.
and Derek has spoken on our behalf at times for that. We do. We have programs. We've had those types of efficiency programs in place since the 1970s. And over time, they have saved significant investments in generating plant, which has kept prices low to our customers. Those programs make sense because the cost of delivering those programs is less than building the new generating capacity. So it makes sense for us to do it, and it makes sense for our customers to participate. And we think that we talk about sustainability these days, and we want sustainable customers. So we want them to use our products efficiently and cost-effective over the long term.
Tom, this has been a brutally hot summer in the Midwest and in some spots in the Northeast. How have the utilities there been able to cope with that?
Well, we have coped with it very, very well, and basically we have electricity is a product that you can't store, so you have to be able to generate enough electricity to meet that demand. And we do have some very, very good efficiency programs that kick in on the hottest summer day. But basically, as John indicated, we need all those power plants ready to go, transmission lines, to meet that kind of demand. And so that's one of the challenges in the electricity business. But we've met it very, very well over the years. Reliability is issue number one.
Right, and the greatest challenge, however, would be a storm like Isaac that's approaching New Orleans now. The Tampa Bay area very fortunate in this instant. But we have had tropical storms. We haven't had a direct hit by a hurricane in a long time. But even we get high winds and heavy thunderstorms here all summer long, and lines will go down and there'll be interruptions in service. So that's got to be a challenge for you. Those aren't your best days,
It
are
is.
they?
No, I mean, the central part of the state of Florida is the lightning capital of the country. So we do have those challenges in running the system. But I'll tell you, our people that work out on the lines, our linemen, they're really good. They work in safe, but they will work in extreme conditions. Their goal is to get customers back into service, whether it's an afternoon thunderstorm or a hurricane or tropical storm. And we do a lot of work preparing for hurricanes and tropical storms. We practice a lot. When others are affected, we go help them, and we learn from going to help them how to improve our own programs. And one of the very unique things about our industry with Tom and his team and their leadership and others is it's rare, but in our industry, although we have many electric companies throughout the country, they help each other during times of crisis. As we were preparing for Isaac potentially making landfall here in our service territory, we already had people on the way to help us from Virginia. Fortunately, we were able to.
It's a brotherhood then.
We were able to reroute them and send them to somebody else to help. But that's what allows us to work efficiently and to help each other out during those emergency
Frank, I don't know
time
of any
periods.
other industry that does this, but we do have a situation when we had that storm over that came across from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic. We had trucks coming in from crews coming in from TECO, from Canada, from
Before even
across
asking,
the Midwest,
probably, right?
and absolutely, and it's a mutual assistance program where we work it automatically. But you should, when you see people in Maryland, for example, seeing a TECO truck in there, crew in there, bringing back their electricity, you know, they're just saying thank God. And we're very proud of that program.
I'm sure you are. Gentlemen, thank you both. I want to put in a plug for you and your community involvement here in Tampa Bay, President of the Board, Chair of the Board of Trustees at the University of South Florida.
Thank you. Go Bulls.
All right. John Ramil, Tom Kuhn, thank you
very much.
both.
Appreciate it.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our USF Business Partnerships Roundtable.